Man, some people would say that first impressions mean absolutely everything. You know, for example, say you have a girlfriend and you meet her dad for the first time, or you meet the family for the first time and you say something stupid. Now everybody thinks that you're kind of a dumbass or you're kind of slow or something like that. Or, you know, you have a job and you did something stupid in the first week. Now everybody thinks you're that employee. You know what I'm saying? First impressions go a really long way. And ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor, your super mayor, is a professional at fucking up first impressions. There's probably a range of horrific stories of Tiffany Henyard just meeting people for the first time, just leaving scars. You know what I'm saying? Handing scars out to people left and right. I mean, I pray for the children. You see that smile, that big ass smile she be throwing out there? They probably have nightmares. I pray for the children that Tiffany is going out to bless, because she says she be blessing kids and blessing the people and the youth all the time. So, I mean, I pray for them. Anyways, we move forward into some more terrible first impressions with Tiffany's relationship and the judge, because apparently the lawsuit that she filed, she just snatched it down. She's like, never mind. Her lawyer had an emergency recall of the lawsuit, whatever. We don't want to sue anymore. No, trust me, they want to sue. We made a mistake. We can't sue right now because we have to kind of get our ducks in a row. We have to figure it out because we're the most ignorant, the most deadbeat, and the most incompetent branch of government that existed. We can't do anything properly. Every time I say this, they remind me of the group project, man. Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor, is the leader. Incompetent as fuck, trying to lead the project. Keith Price is the guy who tries to get everybody to do their part when he's not even doing his own part. And then you just get this whole culmination of dog shit. And then they put microphones in front of them. And the dog shit is supposed to give you something useful in life. It's not going to give you nothing useful. It's crazy. But anyways, this dysfunctional group pulled their lawsuit down. But before they post another one, because trust me, it's coming, let's go through the lawsuit that they already have on hand. Because the main problem is that her big supporter, Fitzgerald Roberts, remember that mayor? It was like a mayor or something that supports her. She said it a bunch of times. She said it all over the news. You should have heard her. All of a sudden, Fitzgerald Roberts is like, what? Lawsuit? They said a lawsuit? I don't know nothing about no lawsuit. I'm not suing anybody. Lawsuit? Get my name off that shit. Bro, even her supporters, I don't know. It sounds like she pulled that out of her ass. The whole "they support me" line. But anyways, even her supporters are pulling out, acting like they don't even know nothing. Let's go ahead and check out the key points with Mr. Fitzgerald Roberts and try to figure out why she pulled out of this. Well, why he pulled out of this lawsuit, forcing her to pull out. Let's get into it. All right, to start things off spicy right here, we already have Tiffany A. I'm surprised she didn't have the A. Henyard. She just put Henyard. Anyway, Tiffany Henyard as a supervisor of the township of Thornton and as mayor of the village of Dalton. And then we have the second name, Mr. Fitzgerald Roberts, as mayor of the village of Dixmoor. So, I mean, bro's face is plastered up here publicly already. You know what I'm saying? It's you stand by this woman. All your affiliations, every other relationship you have, they better line up with Tiffany, because guess what? The mayor of Dixmoor stands with Tiffany Henyard, the stupidest mayor in the country, maybe. But we move forward. So we skim on through the lawsuit, and we're looking for certain people, Mr. Fitzgerald. So we have parties and jurisdictions. Obviously, there's Tiffany Henyard. We have Napoleon Harrison. They kind of list out what each and everybody does. So let's point out Mr. Fitzgerald, plaintiff. Plaintiff Fitzgerald Roberts is the mayor of the village of Dixmoor, a unit of municipal government incorporated under the laws of the state of Illinois and wholly located inside the township of Thornton, Cook County, state of Illinois. So basically, just giving us an idea of who he even is, right? So again, they're putting his reputation kind of out there. You know, there's no real going back when you do a lawsuit like this. It's so public. But I guess you could do the good old Fitzgerald trick. There was a lawsuit. I was involved in a lawsuit. I don't know about that. Let's move forward, though. Then we move on into some of the allegations. It says, Plaintiff Tiffany Henyard, the current supervisor of Thornton Township, seeking to participate and to be nominated at the caucus for the office of supervisor, arrived at the location of the caucus with hundreds of her supporters about 4 p.m. on that December 3rd, 2024. Upon arrival at the location, it was discovered that hundreds of people were already inside the auditorium attending what was described by the people being let into the building as a private party or private event. Neither Henyard nor any of her supporters were allowed in. Now, there has been video, going around the internet. I've seen it, and it looks like she was in there well early. Like, you know, how did she get in and nobody else got in there? And I think that's why her main point is to say that no one was able to get in. Because if she was able to get in, that would be able to raise the question, well, why wasn't anyone else able to get in? And one more thing, let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? It's an auditorium. I think they probably used the auditorium for more things than just a caucus. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just say that because there was a quote unquote party already happening, that dropped your chances of being nominated. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like a solid argument, and I don't think a judge would really go for this. And keep in mind, her first impression was already that she can't even get a proper lawsuit going. She had to snatch it back and resubmit it probably in the next few days. So, you know, it's looking bad, bro. I'm not going to lie. Tiffany, things are shaking right now. If things are ruled out of her favor, I don't know honestly, I don't know what she's going to do. Probably go home and cry and beat Leotis. I'm playing. She's not going to do that. But let's move forward. It appeared as if only people with a certain identifiable tag or badge and people that were handpicked by recognition were allowed into the building for the private quote-unquote party or the private quote-unquote event. The tag or badge clearly reads Thornton Township Democratic Caucus Delegate Committeeman Napoleon B. Harris III, 2024. A copy of a picture showing the tag or badge hanging on a lanyard worn by one of the actual participants of the private party, quote unquote, or private event, quote unquote, is attached and identified as Exhibit B. And then they show this tag. You know, a nice little blurry picture for the judge to see. You know what I mean? Just very professional, very good stuff. You could tell the group work. The group project, they're grinding some gears. That's not the word for it. They're using some elbow grease. They're getting the things pushed forward. You know what I'm saying? They even have little pictures. It looks like a picture of a picture is so blurry. But let's move forward. At about 6:30 p.m., a lot of people had gathered outside of the auditorium in the freezing cold weather, waiting in line to be let into the building. Many others were in buses and cars waiting to be let in. At about 6:40 p.m., the doors were open for the people to start coming inside. However, the people who were already inside the auditorium for the private event, quote unquote, or the private party never exited the building, and the auditorium was never emptied out to begin the process, allowing only qualified caucus participants in the auditorium. Listen, the only people I've been really hearing talk about a party, quote unquote, was Tiffany Henyard's people. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't a party being held. I'm just saying it's very convenient that they're using this party as like their main strategy as voter suppression. Like, oh yeah, they had the party and that's what they did. They strong elbowed us out of the way. You know what I'm saying? They held the doors locked because there was too many people. They were pushing us out. If we go back into the footage, the auditorium had a lot of people, but it's not like they were shoulder to shoulder. People were voting. And I don't know what type of party has people just standing around, but it doesn't seem like the type of party I would go to anyway. So that whole party situation, I don't know. It just doesn't seem, I don't think a judge is going to buy it. That's all I'm saying. So now we move forward to our main man, Mr. Fitzgerald. And there's a lot more allegations, but it's basically to appeal to our emotions, our little cold, frozen hearts. There were old people outside, man. They were so old and just feeble, and they couldn't handle the cold. Look, their walkers were freezing in the Chicago, in the Illinois weather. It was too cold for them. We had to bring them on buses to keep them alive, just to keep them on life support, to go and vote, and they couldn't even vote. Okay, there's a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how that's really gonna work in court, man. I know she's beat a recall before, but I don't think she's going to get. Just do your write-in ballot, Tiffany, because I don't think she's gonna win this one. But we move forward to Fitzgerald Roberts. They add him into it. It says plaintiff Fitzgerald Roberts had arrived at approximately 6:30 p.m. with many of his residents and constituents for the purpose of participating, nominating candidates, and voting in the caucus. Roberts and all of his residents and constituents, too, waited in line outside of the building in the freezing weather. Did you get frostbite, Fitzgerald? Did you get a boo-boo on your finger, Mr. Roberts? At about 7:10 p.m., it was announced that the caucus was over and that the defendant, Napoleon B. Harris III, and his slate had been nominated unopposed. Plaintiff Tiffany Henyard never got the opportunity to exercise her right to participate, nominate, and or be nominated, and to vote in the caucus. Plaintiff Fitzgerald Roberts never got the opportunity to exercise his right to participate, nominate, and or be nominated, and to vote in the caucus. So it kind of feels redundant. It kind of feels like they're just using his name for some more weight. We just want more plaintiffs. The more plaintiffs, the better. And I guess it's another mayor, so that'll add some weight to it. But it's just hilarious that the same thing is probably going to get posted with this all taken out now. It's so sad. Tiffany, you know what that's saying? You stand alone. And Keithopotamus, you and Keith, you could snuggle up with Keith at night when it gets cold. The next time a caucus locks you out, call for Keith. Whistle for him. Go call Keith over. You go over there and snuggle up in his blubber. Let me stop. At about 7:15 p.m. on December 3rd, 2024, counsel for the plaintiff arrived at the caucus location and was briefed on the events. And when they say counsel, they're talking about Tiffany's like goon squad. It's like the squad, just a bunch of idiots. A bunch of fuck ups coming to her aid. I don't know if they'll provide effective counsel, but they'll provide counsel. Counsel there, and then inquired about the rules of procedures that were adopted for the caucus from one of the attorneys for defendant Harris, who was present and had concealed Harris at and through the caucus. That attorney then handed counsel for the plaintiffs a copy of the rules and verbally confirmed to counsel that it was the rules of procedure adopted for the caucus. See Exhibit A. So basically what they're alleging right now is that they really just put things into play to stop them every which way they could. They put a party in play. You know what I'm saying? They locked the doors. They put badges on people. They started the time in weird areas, you know what I'm saying? And then now they're saying that they changed the rules up a bit specifically for the caucus. At this point, man, it sounds like the dream team of a conspiracy to me. Like, it sounds like the perfect conspiracy. To be honest, it sounds like a top tier conspiracy that people don't have the funding or the time to do. That's what it seems like to me. All these things that are just lining up in Tiffany Henyard's head, like, ooh, and this happened, ooh, and that happened, and they did the name badges, and then they did the party, and they made sure it was capacity just so that I couldn't get in there. I just feel like it's a little too intricate for anybody at that pay grade to really want to do. You know what I'm saying? You just got beat. That's it. You just got beat. Now you're dragging other mayors into this, making them look like dumbasses. And before I finish the video, I have to leave it on them doxing Mr. Harris, because what the fuck? I mean, this is like some hater shit right here. It says, finally, defendant Napoleon B. Harris III, who declared himself the winner of the caucus and the nominated candidate of the Democrat Party for office of supervisor for the Township of Thornton at the election to be held on April 1st, 2025, is not, in fact, qualified to be nominated. Neither is he qualified to be participant of and in the caucus, much less nominated. Napoleon B. Harris III, who is also the current state senator of Illinois, 15th district, is not, in fact, a resident of the Thornton Township. And then they go forward and they give his address, and they're trying to prove that he's not a resident. He's not a resident. He doesn't live here. But all I'm saying is, like, if you're, I think Cooking with Frank said it first, if you're a rich guy, what if I just have a bunch of houses? You don't even know about that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I'm just a very successful man and you're just not used to the avenues that I have as a successful man? Just saying, just me. That's just me. I could be wrong. Maybe that does disqualify him. But either way, that shit is terrible. They continue in the lawsuit to list out specifically Fitzgerald Roberts, and I think that's probably the reason why he backed out also, because there's like a whole page dedicated to all the rights that they violated from him and all the rights that he needs to come after them for. It's a lot. And best believe part 2 is coming out real soon because they can't sit for too long without filing another lawsuit. It's coming. But anyways, people, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys for coming out to the late night video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.